Welcome to the vocabulary lesson for true wealth. Start at the beginning. The word wealth. Wealth means uh, money, but it means having a lot of money. If he says he has wealth, it means he has a lot of money. Okay, so wealth means a lot of money. Riches. It's similar to the word riches, plural, riches. And here it's a noun. Okay, so it's a thing. Wealth is something that you have. Okay, and then we have the definition of wealth according to Robert Kiyosaki. Now, this is not the normal definition. The normal definition means a lot of money. But his definition is the number of days you can survive without physically working or anyone else in your household working and still maintain your standard of living. Okay, so household, there's a nice word. Anyone else in your household. Household means people who live with you. It's similar to family, but it's the family members who live with you. So if your grandmother lives in another city, she's not in your household. If your grandmother lives in your house, then yes, she is in your household. She is part of your household. Now, another key point, a roommate, right? It's just maybe a friend, or maybe someone who's not a friend, but they share your apartment, they share your house. They are not part of your household, right? So household has two important parts, two important ideas. Number one is people who live with you, but number two, they also need to be part of your family. So household really means the people in your family who also live with you. Okay, and then we go down a couple paragraphs and we see two words, expenses and liabilities. All their money goes out to expenses and liabilities. Okay, now these are similar words, an expense and a liability for business. They're similar, but they're not the same. What's the difference? An expense, you probably know, an expense is money you pay, right? It means money leaving your bank, leaving your wallet. So it's money you pay, something you pay for. So you might say that if you buy food, for example, well, that's an expense. You buy a hamburger, you buy pizza, you buy rice. Those are expenses, things you spend money on. What's a liability in business? General business. Well, generally in business, when we talk about liabilities are uh, expenses that happen regularly, that repeat again and again and again. So, for example, your office is a liability. Why is that a liability? Well, because you pay it again and again and again, right? Every month you must pay for your office. Let's imagine you own your office, but you have to pay the bank a loan, right? You borrowed money, you bought your building, but now you pay the bank every month. You pay them some money. That's a liability. It means the apartment or the building rather is your liability. Now you could also say it's an expense. It's a monthly expense. Typically, usually, liabilities are things you own, things that you have, they're yours. Maybe you borrowed money to buy them, so you're paying money to the bank. Whereas expenses are something that, that you pay maybe one time. They might happen again and again, but there is a difference. Liability has the idea of happens again and again, money you pay again and again, and has the idea that it's something that's yours, that you have, but it costs you money. Something that you have, but that it costs you money also. Okay, and then now we have the opposite of liability is an asset in the next paragraph. Asset. An asset is something you have that makes money again and again and again, regularly, repeatedly. So if you have a house, let's say a house is a good example. If you own a house, you buy a house, you borrow money from the bank, you buy a house. Is it a liability or is it an asset? Well, it depends. It can be a liability or it can be an asset. If you live in your house and you pay $1,000 every month to the bank, well, then it's a liability. It costs you money every month. But if you rent your house to another person, right? Another person lives in your house, they pay rent. They pay $1,100 every month. Well, now your house is an asset. It makes money, right? It makes $100 every month because the person pays you $1,100. Then you have to pay the bank $1,000. So you have an extra 100. So your house is making money every month. Now it's an asset. That's the main difference between an asset and a liability. All right, then we go down towards the bottom of the first page. We see the word collect. It's a common verb, to collect. Do you regularly save and invest your money? Do you collect assets or liabilities? So collect is to gather. Collect is to possess something and then possess more and then possess more of one kind of thing. It means you try to buy or you try to get a lot of something. You can collect pennies, for example. You can collect phones, I guess. You could keep buying more phones, more phones. I have 10 phones. Now I have 20. Now I have 30. I'm collecting phones, right? I'm getting more and more and more. So, of course, you want to collect assets. You want to get more and more and more assets, more and more and more things that make money for you. You do not want to collect liabilities. That's not good. All right, next paragraph, you say an asset is something that provides positive cash flow. Now, the word flow means movement, to move, but it's a special kind of movement. Flow is to move like water, to move easily, to move effortlessly. That's flow. So, positive cash flow. Cash means money. So it means cash movement, money movement. And positive means it's going up, right? You're getting more and more and more. So of course, that's what you want. You want to be getting more and more and more money every month. That's called positive cash flow. And then finally, at the end of that last paragraph, first page, your business is an asset if it is profitable. So if you have a business, if it is profitable, it's an asset. Of course, to be profitable, an adjective, to be profitable means to make money, right? Not lose money, make money. To be profitable is to make money. So a profitable business is a business that makes money. It means the income is higher than the expenses. Profitable. All right, in the next paragraph, first paragraph, second page. At the end, we see all your loans are liabilities. Basically, liabilities are recurring expenses. Okay, recurring means something that comes again and again and again, something that happens again and again and again. It happens repeatedly. So recurring is something that happens repeatedly, something that happens again and again and again, not one time. If something happens one time, it's not recurring. But if it happens and then it happens again next month, and then again next month, well, then it's recurring. So rent is a recurring expense for most people. You pay rent every month, not just one time. It happens again and again and again. Every month you have to pay rent. It's a recurring expense. Happens again and again. All right, and then 2 paragraphs down, you see the word stocks. Invest in a business. Invest in stocks. Stocks are shares of companies. Stocks are uh, a percent ownership, a part ownership of a company. For example, I can start a company and I have 100 shares. They're called shares. Each part is called a share, right? So if I have 100 shares, it means 100 parts of my company ownership, like 1% each. Each share, each part is 1%. So if I have 10 shares of stock, 10 shares of ownership, then I own 10% of the company. So stock is kind of ownership, part ownership of a company. Invest in part ownership of companies. That's what that sentence means. Invest in stocks. Invest in part ownership of companies. And then the next paragraph, you see the advice, you see the sentence, pay off your car or sell it. Pay off your credit card. Pay off your house. To pay off means to pay completely. It means to pay everything you owe. Right? So I have a car. I owe $4,000, right? I bought it, but I must pay 4,000 more dollars to the bank. If I pay off the car, it means I pay all $4,000. I pay everything. And then I owe nothing, right? Then it's completely mine. So to pay off something means to pay everything you owe. I paid off my car means I paid all the money to the bank that I owe. If you pay off a credit card, if your credit card has $2,000 that you owe, if you pay all $2,000, then you pay off your credit card. Right now you owe zero. Okay, and then in the same paragraph, we see the word generate. In other words, eliminate all debts which do not generate a profit. To generate means to create. To create. So if you generate a profit, it means you create a profit or make a profit. So generate means to make or to create. And finally, near the bottom, we see the word steadily. Steadily is a nice word. Steadily means little by little. Steadily means step by step. Steadily increase your assets. So not suddenly. Steadily is different, almost opposite from suddenly. You know, suddenly means very fast. Well, steadily means slowly, little by little, step by step, steadily. Okay, that is the vocabulary lesson for true wealth. Listen to it a few times.